All right, so just before starting this podcast, I want to remind you one thing. Each episode that I'm recording, it's an invite. It's really an invite for you to think, to grow, to chase a new dream, to have a new reflection on a different topic or maybe a new perspective. You maybe a new opportunity or a new career path, or just switch your vision into something you don't necessarily have succeed like this way, give you the tools maybe to improve in a specific topics, in a specific field you would like to, and really like just chase something that always have matters to you inside you. And I just want to, like, through this podcast, to really give you the tools, the philosophers, the thinkers, the leaders, the people that really have helped me, or the thoughts that have helped me while growing up, and just help me every day in my life in general, to reflect on myself and really help me to grow as the best human being I want to be. So this is what is this podcast about. Okay, the end of this parenthesis. Welcome to this new week. Today let's talk about one of the most important things you can do in life. It's start betting on yourself. I really wanted to write something about it and like to talk about it, because this is something that is actually really matters and is more deep than we can think it is. So that's right, like I just said it, and this is the topic of today. Start betting on yourself. This is also the title of this episode. And it's really stop waiting the world to validate you, and stop waiting to someone to give you the permission to be the best version you can be. It's time to really bet on you, not your brother, not your sister, not your best friend, even though it's also really amazing to bet on these people, your husband, your partner, the people you love around you, but also think about betting on you, because no one else in life is going to take the risk, make the move that you want to, or really fight for your dreams like you will do it. And guess what? You're worth the investment, 100%. One knife, one go. So hi, this is Emma, and welcome then to the 5th episode of Karen Talks. And I just want to start this episode, I already started, but I just want to, in the beginning of this episode, if you're listening to this today, I just want to start by saying this. I want you to know that actually the coming things I'm gonna say, and like this episode is going to be a conversation not about what the world owes you, but about what you owe to yourself. So welcome to episode 5th of Karen Talks, Start Betting on Yourself. So we often think of betting, think about like the really deep definition of betting. You think about it as something we do with odds, with numbers, with statistics, with cards, like a game. But this week, I really want to invite you to perceive this idea of betting on yourself as the most powerful bet that you will make. It's not with cards, it's not with guess, it isn't like on game or people or outcome, it's actually on you. Last week we talked a lot about confidence and love, amour, not romantic love, really self-love. This week I want to invite you to perceive this idea of betting on yourself as a radical act of self-love. Bell Hooks, one of the most important thinkers of our time, she was a Stanford and Yale University professor, and she wrote that loving yourself isn't like something that is superficial, as sometimes we can think or associate it to be. And that created like really this barrier inside us that we cannot do that or we shouldn't. But actually, betting on yourself, loving yourself, it's not vanity. It's a radical act, but not a radical act of vanity, superficiality. It's in a way sometimes a form of resistance, a resistance on like what people could expect you to become, but really choosing what you believe to become. You believe your inner voice, your vision, your worth, and even when no one else believes into it yet. And it's really saying to yourself, I deserve to take a space. I deserve to show up fully. I deserve to begin. Even when the world hasn't caught up with you, you don't wait for their permission to become something. My best friend, she is a designer, product designer. She's really good at what she's doing, but she always have been really into music since a very young age. We've been like to music school together and stuff, but whatever. And she I know, like recently, I think like 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago, she just decided to create like this group, really cute actually, with her father and stuff, but really start so into like music, into that field, into like singing, but like properly creating a song that go live on Spotify and stuff. And this is what I'm saying. Like, even if no one around else, especially in her field, like she's a product designer, like no one else would think like, oh, you are you a singer? No, but she just starts having like the thought that she wanted to do that. She wanted to sing, she wanted to become a singer, and she just started creating music. She just started creating clips and got really engaged in that creative field. And she didn't wait for any permission to someone to give it to her. So let's face one truth here in what I'm saying. Most of us, since a very young age, we were trained to sometimes really doubt ourselves before we even had a chance to believe in it, especially like in some countries, in some places. But you're always taught to really act and like be realistic, to stay safe, to play safe, to ask for permission before things. Like especially when you're a kid, you ask for permission to do things. But so you're always raised by this idea to wait, and sometimes without even like realizing it, we just internalize this passive relationship with life in general, like with people, just like waiting on something, waiting for permission. We wait to be chosen. We wait to like do like things. Like we don't act on our gut. We always look for confirmation. In this podcast, I had been talking a lot about one really dear philosopher to me that I really associated sometimes with like in thinking, and I love to refer to him. But I can also talk about him in this episode. It's Nietzsche. Nietzsche called this the fact that you always wait for permission, or you just wait for really passively for life to happen to you without really taking decision, doing things by your own self and becoming your entire self and just let go life through. It called it passive nihilism. And it's that feeling of drifting, surviving, but not really living. It's back at the time, just to put that into a historical context, it was really the end of Christianism in France, the value that were going down like during Nietzsche period, and that's why he talked about this example. But what I mean by passive nihilism in this, and while I'm talking to you about this topic of betting on yourself right now, it's passive nihilism. It's when you lose faith in your ability to create meaning. So you just go with the current. Even if the current is killing you, even if you are absolutely not satisfied with it, and if this is where you are right now, I'm seeing you. I see you, because sometimes you in a certain position, you're in a job, you're in a certain relationship maybe, and you just let it go. You're just very passive about things. But indeed, I need you to hear this, especially if you want to start something. No one is coming to give you permission to be powerful. You always hear things like when you get older, you don't care about the judgment of others. The more you get older, you just don't care at some points. And you just realize like the thing in life, it's you should have done things because no one's care. And that's permission, it just start with you, and it just would make you grow and make you improve in certain points, and also like give you really a fire for something if you want to start something. So when you choose to bet on yourself, you're not just making a decision, you are creating new values for your life. And Nietzsche didn't believe we were born with a purpose handed to us. He believed we become through struggle. We become through things that we are doing. He called it the will to power, not power over others, but power over yourself. The ability to grow through resistance, to evolve, to transcend. And betting on yourself means you choose growth over comfort, integrity over approval, becoming over belonging. And that's right there, that's how you build a life that just feels like yours. And betting on yourself means refusing to live by someone else's rules. It means choosing growth over conformity. When you stop asking for validation and start building your own standards, and you move from imitation to creation, and that's the beginning of freedom. And one of the most radical things you can do is refuse to stay in a place like the world expects you to stay in. Betting on yourself means stepping outside of the script someone else wrote for your life and daring to write your own. And here I would like to talk to you about the French philosopher Simone de Beauvoir. And she wrote a lot about human condition and also the capacity of the human to women, to the human to become. And she said that becoming yourself isn't something that just happens over a day, over a night, but you become by acting, by refusing to stay passive, by refusing the roles that were handing to you. And that's the thing. You weren't born to be a background character. You become the lead, the subject, when you finally decide to choose you. You were born to be the main character of your own life. You were born to do things, to act, to move, to breathe, to feel deeply things. And let's ground this into something more practical. So Simon Sinek say that people don't follow you for what you do. They follow you for why you do it. And that's it. What's your why? Not your job title, not your resume, not where you've born, but the reason for showing up. You don't need to know the whole path. You just need to honor your why with one small act of courage today. And that's the thing. What's your story? What's your why? What's your purpose? That's what really is at your core. Like, why are you doing this thing? Like, maybe it's linked with your past. Maybe it's linked with like something that really matters to you and that you want to share with the people, like help like humanity in some sense at your really smaller scales. But why is your why in life? Why are you like doing something? Why are you settling in this city? You need to really work on this, because this would like define your dreams, would define like the person that is actually you at this present moment and makes you happy, and could really influence also the way you would also be happy and start becoming fully. So I'm not here to sell you a fake reality, or I'm not here to tell you betting on yourself, it's an easy game every single day. But, actually a lot of people don't do it because they just doubt. And because betting on yourself and choosing sometimes this path, this radical path, it's pretty messy, and that thing could be really full of like doubt, and you might lose people and you might lose comfort, but you will gain something. It's not for nothing, because basically you gain yourself, like you gain like the thing you're really passionate about. So you would come home to who you've always been, beneath like the noise. And not betting on yourself is actually disrespectful to your own self and the person you're becoming. So, just start with simple thing, but start with thing, and, start with this little thing. Say the truth you've been avoiding to say. Set the boundary if you feel there is boundary to make with things in your life. Launch the thing, even if it's super small. If you want to launch a business since a long time and you want to work on the image state of it, like just start to work on like this part, little by little, just little step. Send this email you've been maybe avoiding. Just do this little step. Go for a walk every morning. I already say that in my other podcast. Like I say, move your body a lot, but because I think this is also these things, and when you feel sometimes physically good, you also feel really good, maybe more mentally, and your mind is just more clear and your thoughts are just more straight with no noise surrounding them. So also sometimes you should also rest. It's a bit like strange to say it like this, but having enough sleep can really help you shut down your phone or try to rest, and you will also feel better. And also it's when you give time for yourself and can really think about what deeply matters to you. This is the end of today. So I would like to finish this podcast episode with the word of the Danish philosopher Kierkegaard, that wrote, "To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily, but not to dare, it's to lose oneself." And I want you to really feel that. You might stumble, you might fall, but if you don't try, you start to disappear. Not physically, but slowly, quietly, inside. So even if your voice shakes, even if it's blurry, even if you don't feel ready, move. Because betting on yourself doesn't start with perfection. It starts with courage. And this is also how people gonna start respecting you. It's when you give yourself this energy to do things, this fire, and you do things just by yourself. You start this thing, you just step up for you. So here's the question. Are you going to bet on your fear or are you going to bet on your future? Because either way, you are making a bet. And honestly, this week, I want you to choose courage. Go for it. And not because it's easy, but because it's just honest with yourself. Because you are not here to play it small. You are not here to wait. You are not here to be chosen, to wait on this answer from a certain job interview or to wait for that thing. You are here to go to the second job interview, resend something, go outside, go on a coffee terrace to grab the coffee and maybe have like this talk with someone and you make connection in a certain way. You go to the gym, you network without even realizing it. And that's what I'm saying. You are not here to wait to be chosen like a tree. You are here to choose you. You are here to make it. And this is how people then gonna respect you. And this is how you're gonna grow value for yourself. So you are here to choose you over and over again. And your life is not a rehearsal. It's happening now. And start betting on yourself. Like you only have youth, you only have one life that you're aware of. So even if you're afraid, even if your hands shake, even if your voice like cracks and it's not perfect, even if you're not sure of the path you're in and it feels still foggy, the world, one really thing for you like to remember in this, it's the world doesn't need your perfection. Like we always think we need to be perfect when we start things, but no. The world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your presence. It needs you to be here. It needs you to believe in yourself, to do the move. So this is the end of this episode, of this podcast. I hope you like it. I hope it maybe touched something into you. I didn't know if I was going to do this subject. As I said, a lot of people are already doing things on the matter, especially when it comes in English. But I thought it was something at the end when you really think about it, and even through literature, through philosophers, through thinkers, it's actually a subject that sometimes could be at the center of reflection, and we are with ourselves all our life. So I just wanted to remind you, really, it's like this thing of not letting you down. So I hope you like it. If you like it, please save it, hit the 5-star button, save it for later, like it, thank you. And this is Emma, this is KN Talks, and this week, the assignments. Bet on yourself like your soul depends on it, because it does. So see you next week, and take care. Lot of kisses.